Welcome to the last day of the Wicked Wales International Youth Film Festival 2021. We have been having a wonderful time here at Westbury Castle with our filmmakers who were working on our lives, our stories, our countries. I got it right, so I'm happy with that. And today we have Ffion Pritchard, Osian Andrew, Adler, and Lewys Mann. And unfortunately, because of various reasons that we all know about, our friends Joseph, Needy and Sudin cannot be here, neither can Zmok Creative. But they have left a couple of messages for us, so let's have a look at it.
Hi, my name is Nidhi Raj. I'm from Mumbai, India. My brother and I directed the film Paralysis. We had an amazing time working with Wicked Wales. It was so great to sit and talk to other filmmakers and discuss ideas and concepts. And yeah, it was great to work on this project. I had a blast. Thank you.
Namaste everyone, this is Sudin Bajacharya from Nepal. I am a documentary filmmaker and a photographer based in Kathmandu. And it has been an absolute pleasure to be part of this filmmaking experience. And I hope that you will love our film Saving Ranjana, which is about these young activists who has been working very actively since past 3-4 years to revive and save the Ranjana script, which is a native script of Neva civilization here in Nepal. And it's not only about the language, but also about how in the name of modernization, our culture and our civilizations, not only in Nepal, but everywhere around the world, has been disappearing, and young people are not aware of these culture, which is very rich. So I hope that our film will travel around the world, and you, all, everyone around the world would love this story, and also work on preserving the native culture, native civilization, native language, and everything that is very close to our heart. Thank you so much, and hope you love our film. Thank you. Namaste.
Well, those were lovely messages from our friends from this wonderful project. And to give you a bit of perspective, a couple of months ago, well, not even a couple of months ago, it's been a while now, but we were pitching an idea to work with international friends in Nepal through our dear friends at Sanatione and the IYMS International Youth Media Summit. And we've come together to create films expressing the lives of young people in Wales, Nepal, Sri Lanka, India. It's a very diverse range, and it's their time to kind of share their perspectives of what their country represents to them and how the future is potentially looking. So we have seen some wonderful films, and I'll stop talking now, and I'll just bring it out to the table. Just tell me how you actually got involved with this project. Any one of you can start, really.
How did we get involved? It was Hanch, is it?
Was it? Yeah. So I think we submitted a film. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Sean. We submitted a film for the Her Film Ver competition for Hanch, and we won that, actually, didn't we? And yeah, sorry. Just flexing.
Sean's very bitter about this.
And then we got an email saying, mentioning to us about Wicked Wales, and then I think I forwarded it on to you, Sean, and then Sean does all the paperwork sort of stuff, so that's where I drop out then.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
The rest is
That's
history.
how we heard about Wicked Wales, yeah.
And for you, Ffion?
For me, I saw the article on Facebook, and I saw it a couple of hours before the deadline.
No way.
So I just took half an hour out of my day and I wrote a pitch, made it look nice and design, and then sent it off, and also the rest is history.
Sean?
Well, for me, it was Hanch as well.
Thank you, Hanch.
I didn't win the Hanch ever. That's all in the past. But nevertheless, I did get a random email by a fellow called Guitar Free.
Good old guitar.
And then, you just said, oh yeah, Wicked Wales. I was like, really?
Wicked?
Yeah.
They're wicked?
Yeah, they are wicked. And then, yeah, I was to find out that, well, yeah, I got this, and here I am.
In the castle? Yeah. And we've had a nice weekend at the castle.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been nice to see each other because we've had very long Zooms on Sunday afternoons. Yeah. But to put it into context, we've all just been sitting on Zoom chats discussing the process. And we've had some amazing work with our producer, Pauline Williams, who is a master of the arts, I think. And it was an interesting process that way. But when you were thinking of your idea then, where did it kind of start for you? Did you have an idea in mind, or was it kind of, I'll try this and then I'll see how far I can take the story?
Well, I think for us, at the time, we were spending a lot of time down Buryport in West Wales, and we were driving around loads, visiting like Pentre Ifan and other castles and stuff. So, like, I guess the idea, like, taking into consideration like the constraints of the brief and stuff, we thought, wait a second, let's just make a film about basically what we're doing, which is just driving around Wales, yeah, so I think I do see similarities between, in our film, there's, a boy and a girl driving around. That's basically what we were doing. And a lot of locations where we were filming were places we were going to anyway. So that kind of helped as a sort of a, scouting for locations and stuff, And then we just sort of put in a narrative into it that, because we needed to portray Wales in a positive light, that the girl is Canadian. And the only reason why she was Canadian is because we knew one Canadian actress.
Yeah.
And we hadn't asked her at the time. Yeah, so if she said no, we would have,
I would have had to put on an accent.
Yeah, yeah, put on an accent, yeah. And then, we just made the story there about the girl, convinces the boy to, enjoy Wales and stuff, in the same way that we were enjoying Wales. So, yeah.
I will say one thing about your film is like it kind of encapsulates a lot, especially for the last 18 months. Coming from Wales, you don't sometimes appreciate what you have. Yeah. And then I think as lockdown eased, we were going out in places I've been to but never fully appreciated. Yeah. So I thought it was it's a very moving film anyway. I think Heritage. I loved it personally. I love all your films. I've said this before. Yeah. I have. Ooh! Ffion, how was kind of the beginning of the process for you?
So in the pitch, I wrote, it was going to be a documentary following the project I was working on with young people in Penygrawys. But that project kind of evolved and it became, as most do, really a lot longer. So I kind of condensed the idea of a little bit to just talking to young people who had been involved in community arts projects in Penygrawys in the past, and kind of more broadly about how they feel about their town and how art is kind of affecting that. So it became a kind of less of like a narrative-based thing and more kind of like a collage working with the interviews and footage.
Fantastic. That was the thing, I've said this to you countless times, but I love the energy that yours has because it kind of represents rural Wales, especially North Wales. I'm a very proud North Walian, no offence, South Walians. And it just showed how, we're very rich in culture and art here. And, the people that you've kind of portrayed in your film is unreal, and it just kind of shows you that Wales is moving in the right way within creative arts, and that's why you're here. You're all young filmmakers that we wanted to support. Now then, Osian, what did you think about your beginning of the process?
Honestly, I did my pitch quite late. And I was really trying to think, documentary film? I want to do sort of drama, that's what I was actually, it's like it is. But for some reason I just thought, let me think of a documentary pitch. I don't know why I never done a documentary. And I just came up with this idea of sort of trying to sell Wales. I was trying to look for all this inspiration. I kept on seeing those Visit Wales adverts weekends, and I thought, I can do something like that. I don't have a drum, I'll do something like that. And, so yeah, I suppose that's sort of what I did. I did do a nice artsy pitch on a bit of focus group that I just kind of opened up my Word docs and I kind of just whatever the normal font is now sometimes Roman.
No.
And
Not Comic Sans, MS.
Yeah, I could have just left it like that, and I just sort of typed some stuff, and for some reason they liked it. And yeah, Visit Wales film, basically.
You're kind of selling yourself short here because you did write a very beautiful piece of poetry that
I was
went,
going to ask that. Did you put your poem in it?
Yeah.
Because that would have sold me.
Oh yeah.
It was a very passionate poem that Osian's done in Cymru Lawr, and I think, you know, he's also featured in the trailers as well. Well, you do have a nice deep. You do have a nice voice, especially with poetry reading. You know. But you know, it's interesting how you've kind of merged our kind of proud heritage of Barddonoliaeth with poetry. Sorry, and you've kind of culminated it, but you've shown how Wales has represented the good and the bad, but the positivity of the future that we have as well. You know, especially within kind of those last kind of shots where you got the protest. I know it was by chance, but it was still there. But that's the filmmaking process, though, isn't it? Because sometimes you might not have the idea on the piece of paper, but on the day, it clicks and it works that, you know, in that way for you. But so, how did you find working with an international body and kind of professionals helping you kind of with your, well, from beginning to end? How was that for you? You have to be nice as well, by the way. Rhiannon's watching.
I think the level of mentorship that we had throughout the project is something that's quite rare. Because I think I went to university, obviously not having to go to university, but that's definitely built around the relationships you might have with tutors who know you and know your practice. And that's something that doesn't really tend to be that as much. If you decide to go freelance after university, you don't tend to have people who know you guide you through a project. And I guess that kind of, us being here now talking about it as well when it's come to an end, that doesn't really happen either. You just put what you've created out into the world and that's kind of it. So it's been a unique project in that way.
Yeah, just never forget it's not the end, because we obviously would love to have you back for various other projects. I'm sure Rhiannon's writing down the next projects that we're going to work with these fine filmmakers. It's coming. What cameras do you want? What lighting do you want? Give her the list.
If that's a promise.
Osian,
how was the whole kind of mentorship for you?
Amazing. Literally what Ffion said. I mean, I didn't even go to university. I've never actually had many mentors. I feel they're just so useful projects like this. And, just actually be able to sit down and sort of tell you that your idea is worthy of being put out there. And it's not just, make believe, it's not just a dream. It can happen.
Exactly.
And how people like Ffion or Lorraine and you, Dion.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I just made the logo, but it's okay.
Just guide us through it. Yeah, that's something really precious, I think.
Yeah. For you,
Thank you.
Croeso gyda chi. Paid a poeni. For you guys?
Yeah, just to add on to what these guys have said, I think it's one thing making a film, isn't it? Like, anyone can do it, but then having the structure, and it almost felt like we were like a mini film family, having like Pauline, even though they're also supportive, you've still got that constructive criticism that helps you develop your skills. So that's something that I appreciated. And then, like you said, now we've got this little network that we can bounce from now.
But this is the thing in Wales now, is that we need to drive, this is kind of where it works. There's a lot of talent out there. We do this a lot with Film Ifanc, with you guys. It's something really exciting to be part of. And even though it was in a way it was a demo test, it was a trial run, but it was a good trial run. And we're hoping that we're going to thrive forward and make another project, depending where we go next. Yeah, you're gone. But what did you find any hurdles in the way that you felt? Where do I go from here, or anything, or was it kind of you felt quite comfortable with everything that you created, or was there kind of a point where you're like, where do I go with this, and you kind of U-turned it, or an idea changed, or was it just?
There was one moment for me, and I'll hold Pauline to this. Pauline said something about that the music just didn't quite fit towards the end of the film. and it's as if it was a bit too samey. And she said that very cleverly 1 week before the deadline. Not a month, but a new score in 1 week's time. So I just thought, right, I'm going to ditch the strings and all these orchestral sounds that I thought would be great, and all you thought rubbish. So I just pulled out the guitar, put on a drum machine, and then I just sort of went, yeah, and that's why my film ends in something like a rock concert.
I think it works.
It worked though, yeah.
Thank you, Pauline. Although, oh God.
Stress levels.
This is what producers do.
Yeah, stress people out.
Are you ever indebted to it now?
I am, yeah. I think we all should say thank you to Pauline, I think. She's amazing.
The old Pauline.
Yeah,
Skill boss.
It's the boss. Anybody else kind of...
Ours was like, right, even before we started, when we sent in our original pitch,
Oh, yeah.
the original pitch that we put forward, the first script, I can't even remember the feedback now, but it basically wasn't good enough. But Pauline as well gave us the feedback.
It didn't portray Wales positively.
Oh yeah, we were quite
It was talking
negative
about
Nancy's.
some of the negatives and the values
Yeah.
and stuff too much. So we
Yeah.
needed to revamp that. So that was one of the sort of a pivot point before we even sort of started, you know. And then there was like some like constraints to do with like just COVID and stuff that like it was a very warm day when we were filming. Sean had to go home early because of the heat and stuff. So then it was me with the two actors, and then I was trying to do audio and the camera work at the same time. You know? Where like we couldn't have as many people as we wanted to assist them or anything, you know. So we couldn't have boom operators or anything. So yeah, but luckily all the most of the locations were exterior, so you know that helped a lot with like COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
And you had a very sunny weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, too hot, but
it was
I think
that was a heat wave and a half, that one,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
But I was thinking I'd rather the heat than sort of you know, rain or anything, you know, because like you're very lucky if you get sun like that in Wales. So that's really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it added to that
Yeah,
kind of,
exactly.
you know, especially when you see like the little dots of light in it. It's just, it's quite magical, isn't it, really? It's brewing. So
It's a great film.
you made a good film as well, Maniferi. You did a good job, Osian. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you all. And everybody else who's at home. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a dad cardigan on just for you today.
He's our film dad now.
Yeah. Thanks. Do you want to?
Yeah, your knit is better than mine.
It's only from Next, it's fine. £8 on sale, of course. Anyway. But and how was it for you actually working with like-minded international youth filmmakers like yourselves? Like, did you find that to be kind of helpful to work with other creatives around your kind of age range? Did that help you? Did it inspire you, or? Yeah.
Kind of everybody involved in the project was really lovely people, and just really easy to spend really long Sunday afternoon Zooms with. And yeah, it was just it was so similar. Just like so similar in stages of career, kind of attitudes making. What the most different really was the films, which are all very, very different from each other. But the approach was really similar in kind of the ideas and the approach to this project, and kind of how useful this project is to every one of us at this stage in our careers as well.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting actually, especially with the Sudan more than anybody else. The way he was talking about, because he made calligraphy his film was about, which is a beautiful film. And a lot of what my film was about language and sort of poetry and things like that. And although completely different languages, different sides of the world, same sort of story.
Exactly, yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. Like even you can be on the other side of the world or somebody, but still have the same perspective in a way.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how everything's kind of connected in a weird way, isn't it? But, but it's what we got. Saving Ranjana, Sudan's film's called.
Yeah, was that the script, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was dying out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I loved about it, is that like, even though like, you know, Sudan is in Nepal, like we're very similar, like how we were all talking about the Welsh language growing up and speaking it, and then Sudan was talking about the script over there, like just like the similarities, even though we're on the other side of the world.
Yeah. But they are magic people. You've made international friends for life.
Yeah.
You might get invited to Nepal, Sri Lanka, India, maybe. You never know.
We just want to say hi to Nadine
Yeah. Hello. I'm Marceline and Chiara as well. And so I'm Marceline and Chiara down in South Wales.
Oh, yeah, well, they know.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, but you have to say hello still there.
Yeah, that's why we're not international friends as well.
Yes.
So our friends down
South Koreans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Evelyn and Gwen.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody else.
Yeah, because there's loads, isn't it, on the Zoom calls. You forget that there's like all the other people
Yeah.
behind the screen.
Yeah.
And then the thing is,
Oh, yeah.
more people, it's like, and it's different names every week.
Yeah.
To put it into context, when kind of we were going through script drafts and the first drafts and things like that, a few of us would disappear into the background. We'd put our cameras off, and it would just be Pauline. It would be you guys. It was interesting, wasn't it? Because I've told you, I've got a notebook with a lot of notes, but I was too scared to give you the notes because
Really?
I just made the logo. So, you know. Yeah, I've got. Yes, I'm a film journalist.
I would love to. I would really be interested in reading the note.
But that's why I'm saying, send me a script, so read that. Maybe with yours. For anybody that's kind of watching this now, as a young filmmaker, is there anything that kind of has kind of made you realise there is a way into kind of filmmaking from this? Have you got any like messages for anybody that's kind of like, I don't know where to go? Not trying to plug Wicked Wales. I'm not saying that, but do you have messages for filmmakers out there that kind of actually want to make this a dream come true?
Yeah, I would just say, I remember watching things like this not even that long ago, and people would say this, and that is just hold on to your dream. And it sounds so corny and rubbish.
But it doesn't matter.
But it's really
true.
Because a couple of months ago, or 9 months ago, I would not have thought I'd be something like that. I was nothing like that. So, I'm doing loads of things, giving me too much work now.
Sorry.
So just hold on to it. If you just keep on doing what you love doing, somebody soon enough will notice. And you might be sat on this lovely one's comfortable sofa.
Maybe.
There's somebody in a lovely cardigan like that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
How do you guys?
I would say.
You can be corny, it's fine.
I used to think that I had to go to uni. Well, I did. I went to uni and I did media production, and I learned nothing until I actually started Trigger Happy. It's true.
Which I didn't go to university.
Yeah, and he didn't go to university. No. But it's only until I started doing it that I actually started to learn, from your mistakes, or just because Lewis is a big camera geek. Like he's like chucking all this knowledge in my brain. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know this. But I think if you're just doing it and then having the drive to make a film, and then the other thing that I think is equally important is having platforms like this, where you've got like a network to support you, because there's BAFTA and there's like Film Cymru and stuff, but I feel like this is a nice stepping stone to get to those next platforms.
We hope so.
Yeah, and I think you're doing it. So,
I think something that we realise in the music industry, that we see it in the film industry as well, is that like everybody's actually like really supportive, and sometimes like people would say, how do I, like in music, they'd say, how do I get on radio or something? And we're like, you can just email this, this radio presenter, they're really friendly, they want to help people, that's why they're in the music industry, and that's, I guess, why people in the film industry as well, they want to help, younger people and stuff like that, so that's something that I'm realising, but don't be afraid to just email somebody and contact people.
Yeah.
And then email them again would almost guilt trip them into responding to you.
I do that all the time.
Forward
them the email.
Yeah, I realise you haven't responded to this. So.
And the worst they can say is no.
Yeah, they definitely respond.
Exactly, that's the thing. The worst thing they can say is no.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah.
In this sense, if we didn't get it, that would be a horrible no.
Ffion, anything?
I think for me, it would be to not be afraid to write up a pitch and see an opportunity like this. Because when I first started practicing, I dealt with a lot of rejection, and that's really, really, really common. And I think you think you're the only one, but it happens to absolutely everyone. And a few years ago, maybe I see an opportunity like this and wonder if there's really a point. Because this is like a dream project for me, like platforming Wales on an international stage. It's like it takes up a big chunk of my practice. But I took that half an hour to write the application, and then you have the experience of being given like a budget, managing all of that yourself, and for an opportunity like this, you don't necessarily need to have done that before. So I'd say like keep applying, And if it's not going well, just keep making and keep practicing, because no one can really take away the fact that you are a filmmaker or an artist, even if the rejections are coming in.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Yeah. That was some deep stuff there. But
I'll just go.
yeah, but it's been a great experience, and obviously, like we've said too, this is not the end with us. We're not going to just throw you to the side. So we got your films now.
Thank you.
We're going to carry on helping you and supporting you as much as we can. I'm not saying it because there's a camera right in front of my face, and Rhiannon's looking at me in a sinister way. But we are here to support you as much as we can, and the rest of Wales is. We're here to make dreams come true. You know, that's what we're here for. So obviously, we want to say thank you to the Wales Arts International. I want to say thank you to Wicked Wales, Pop-In Centre, and our friends at the International Youth Media Summit, because without all of their help and funds, we could not have made this project possible. And obviously, we'll hopefully drive it again. So anything else? Any last comments, or are we happy? Yeah. Diolch I pawb. Yeah, exactly.
Rock on, my dudes.
So we will have the films will be available online shortly, so the world can watch them. But yeah, be inspired, and you might be sitting on a white sofa with a man with a grandpa jumper. You know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So diolch o galon am watchad. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, just keep making films, I guess. So diolch yn fawr. Da iawn.